Segment 2. Fan campaigns.
Discuss the Save Chuck campaign and really the entirety of how, at least how you perceived that it came about and how effective it was. So go ahead.
Well, part of the way through season two, we found out that Chuck was in danger of not coming back for season three, and the fans were going to have to fight for it. So through ChuckTV.net and some various Skype conversations that we had, we came up with some ideas. We had the letter writing campaign. And the letter writing was basically we wrote letters to NBC higher ups, and this was the first step in letting NBC know that the fans support the show. And this laid the groundwork for one of the most successful fan campaigns to save a TV show that I remember. It's pretty much been covered throughout the media, even TV, and we even got a shout out by Jon Stewart, Save Chuck. So
a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of them. So that was great.
There was also the Hulu and NBC.com,
yep.
WB.com viewing.
Because when we view through Hulu, NBC, they're doing an actual count on the number of views. When you're a Nielsen family, you're the only one that's counted, and everybody else who gets watches that doesn't have a Nielsen box is depending on those Nielsen families. And so in order to let NBC know, we go to Hulu so they know that people are watching. In addition to DVRing and watching live, they're also watching on Hulu.
Right.
And also they make ad money off of that as well.
Ben Silverman's talk about, I guess, a new paradigm for counting viewers and things like that. And even though traditionally, and still today, the Nielsen view numbers are very important to advertisers, but I think that there is kind of a change, at least looming on the horizon, and that watching it online is one way of actually being counted where Nielsen never will. And Nielsen, statistically, at least logically speaking, makes sense. It's supposed to work, but as we've seen in recent articles, Nielsen has been even having problems where perhaps as much as 10%, if not more, of their viewers are forgetting to hit the button.
Yeah, we stated in our letters that we weren't represented by Nielsen and that we wanted to be heard. So
right.
That was them. So,
of course, there was the Subway, the Subway campaign, which snuck up on us in a sense.
I thought it was a brilliant campaign because it showed NBC and the fans, it showed NBC and Subway and any other advertiser that you can do product placement on Chuck, you can do advertising on Chuck, and the fans that will support the show will also support your product.
Right, that they're not cynical, unlike some other shows where if you do product placement, the fans will become cynical and they don't accept the product placement.
Right, they feel like it's a sellout.
When you have the fans accept it in that manner, yeah, that was a very powerful message to advertisers.
And I mean, NBC came out with a separate special press release on the day of the renewal, that talked about the network and how Subway agreed to sponsor Chuck, and how that was the synergy between the two were crucial for the show to get renewed. Now NBC can say, well, it worked for Subway. If you guys want to come on and do some product sponsoring, it's going to cost you more money. So
right.
I think this kind of partnership is crucial to Chuck's future success, and it works for Friday Night Lights, with DirecTV.
Right. We're going to talk about Chuck Me Mondays. And, of course, I think it's important to talk to you about it because part of the idea came from something that you kind of talked about, and I kind of ran with it. But the idea, for me at least, was born from an idea you had. So talk about that.
Well, I was like, okay, we have over 35 weeks to, with no Chuck. And I was like, well, I haven't watched season 1 in a while. I was like, hey, wait a minute. We've had 35 episodes of Chuck. So why don't I, every Monday, during the time when Chuck was on, just pop in Chuck and watch Chuck just to keep it fresh in my mind. But then we started talking on Skype, and you're like, you know what? Why don't we do something where we kind of do like a global viewing of Chuck, or, like a mass audience, and we all do. I wasn't familiar with Twitter at the time, and I am now, but we all do like Twitter or something like that, and that's kind of where it took off into Chuck Me Mondays.
And actually, there's a longer story to that, which is that during the times when Chuck was trending on Twitter, I was very interested to see how many numbers it would take, like how many people twittering and how many posts or tweets it would take to trend a topic. And so I started following other trends. Like every day I was watching, like, what's the 10th place trend? How many does it take? And I realized that if we took the group of people who have been, very hardcore, at least on Twitter, and we did it every Monday, we could trend. And if we could trend, then we could take that like a topic. We didn't have Chuck Me Mondays at the time, and I don't even remember who came up with that name.
It was on the board. It was some username. We could probably get it, but I remember somebody came.
We should find it. But in fact, this fan cast was supposed to be named Chuck Me, not Chuck You. It was an idea that we came up with a while ago, and and then Adam Baldwin said Chuck Me on the episode, and I was
Yeah,
like,
that was hilarious.
Great. That's great. So that's why this fan cast is called Chuck You. But Chuck Me Mondays, then, it was a great name, another great name. And once we had that, I knew that we needed to trend Chuck Me Mondays. The idea, I think, originally was to trend Chuck or watch Chuck, but that isn't that interesting. And I realized that for people to want to click on it, as it trends up on the list, it has to be something kind of weird.
Right.
That people can't immediately identify. Then they click on it, and then they start reading all the comments, and then they go, "Oh, this is about Chuck," which is exactly what's happened. Actually, we've had some.
When you get Twitters and they're like, "What's Chuck?" Or what's this Chuck Me Mondays?
Mondays,
right?
What is that?
So we got new viewers, and then they're like, "Oh, thanks, because this is a great show." That never knew about it.
And we've had a few of them, even some people in the media who have now joined on. So. That's really cool. It's been amazing actually how well that's worked, and it's just started from just a small little comment by Richard about what he wanted to do.
It's all grassroots, and you know what? And we've done this for 2 weeks, and we've trended for 2 weeks. We've gotten new viewers. I mean, we're in it for the long haul.
Yep.
But it's
33
exciting.
weeks left.
Exactly, but it's exciting because it helps pass the time, but it also it allows you to be interactive with other fans and see other fans' viewpoints. So you're kind of getting like live mini reviews while you're watching it. It's pretty exciting to look at all the comments and everything.
And actually, I think Save Chuck on Twitter created a little. It's supposed to be more advanced the next time around for episode 3. A little thing, and I think we'll provide a link at some point to that, or you can just follow like Chuck Me Mondays on Twitter. And we'll provide the link each week where you can actually watch the episode on WB.com and Twitter at the same time, which was
That's what I did last week. I did that last week. It was great because it actually helped me kind of watch the episode and kind of keep track. Sometimes it's a little bit hard because you're trying to watch it, you're trying to write, and sometimes you miss things. But it's a blast.
But on that thing, you can actually click on the hashtags instead of having to type them out. And they'll automatically pop up on the screen. So that's another great advantage.
That's a great advantage because if you forget the hashtag, do it right. It's not going to trend that topic.
And especially since my master plan involves, I don't know if I want to give it away yet, but my master plan involves something much bigger than what we've been doing. We'll see if we get more people involved. My master plan will be one. It will put Chuck on the map. I think people will not be able to avoid Chuck once
the grand plan.
If we ever get the chance to execute the grand plan, it's going to be and I'm hoping we can do it right around Comic-Con, but we'll see. We'll see. Just keep getting your friends in there. Keep getting people to join in, because if we have enough, I think if we get double the numbers we've been doing now, there's no way they can stop us from executing our master plan. Or my master plan.
Your master plan. And the media even knows about, like, I read an article, I think it was in Media Life, but they were talking about how Twitter and how the media companies or even the big networks are going to Twitter now to see where their fans, and that's what really saved Chuck is also the interactivity with the network. We fought for our shows. There's other shows that the fans didn't fight for, and now they're not getting other seasons.
And we should mention that this past episode, we had a giveaway by WB for the Blu-ray Season 1 disc. And NBC Store also gave away a T-shirt, a Nerd Herd T-shirt. So we already have WB and NBC interacting with us on Chuck Me Mondays. And I'm sure you'll be seeing more prizes each week. So this just started. And it's already pretty cool, or cooler than I think we ever imagined.
Yeah, it's great, and I can't wait to keep seeing it trend throughout the summer and into the fall and
Yeah.
right up to the premiere.